Hey, set your mind right now. Nothing before this matters. We came here with everything still on the line. Everything you wanted in the offseason is still out in front of us. What would you give for that moment right now? Let's go, man.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3.
Great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing.
What is good, Raider Nation? It is your boy Raider Alex. I am back with yet another video for you guys. This video, guys, we're going to be talking about Josh McDaniels, what he spoke on earlier about the Derek Carr extension. I'm going to give you guys my quick thoughts and opinions on that. Before I get into that, though, anybody that is new to the channel and you guys love Raiders related content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. With that being said, let's jump right into it. So yeah, Josh McDaniels spoke earlier this morning, and he did talk about the Derek Carr and the whole contract extension situation that's going on with Derek Carr at the moment. And essentially what he said is, you know what, he wants Derek Carr. They want to build around him for the future, but currently they're working out the details on the contract, and that eventually he thinks that they'll find the sweet spot in terms of the contract for Derek Carr. And yeah, that's essentially negotiations in a nutshell. I mean, obviously Derek Carr is going to try to get as much as he can, for what he thinks he deserves. And obviously, I think this just shows you that this new regime, it doesn't matter what position, whether it be the quarterback or a player of Derek Carr's caliber, they're going to do their due diligence to try to, get the best contract, the best value for this team. And you definitely love to see that, man, because to build a championship roster, you have to, sign players at the right value. You got to try to get them at the best, contracts that are going to benefit the team. In terms of Derek Carr, it'll be interesting to see, exactly how much he's going to get in terms of this extension. We saw earlier a couple weeks or a month ago, we saw the reports coming out that Derek Carr was, reportedly asking somewhere around $40 to $45 million per year, that type of range. And I think ideally, man, if Derek Carr could get somewhere in the range of $35 million per year, I think that'd be a super team friendly contract that this new regime could work wonders with. And look, do I think that's still a possibility? I really think it is. Because, we all saw the report saying that he wanted around $40 million or possibly even more. But we also saw reports saying that, he would be willing to take a little bit less under the condition that, they got him his guy, aka Davante Adams. And look, the new regime, they held their promise on that. I shouldn't say promise. They never promised they were going to get Davante Adams, but they did well by Derek Carr in getting him the best wide receiver in all of football. And not only that, they got him his guy, his best friend. And so I think in this short time that this new regime has shown Derek Carr that they are a very competent and very capable front office. I think the way this new regime is going to approach, this contract situation with Derek Carr is they're basically going to tell Derek Carr straight up, you know what, we've been here a very short amount of time, and I think we've done, we've shown you with our actions that we are very serious, in assembling a championship roster for this team. I mean, you got to think about it, man. It hasn't even been a full offseason yet, and I feel like they've already done more than what John Gruden did in 3 years, what Jack Del Rio did in 3 years for a guy like Derek Carr. So, like I said, without even a full offseason, they have shown you that they can make moves. They know what they're doing, even though they're, this is a first-time GM, and, Josh McDaniels hasn't been a head coach in over 10 years. I think they've shown you that they're not just rookies in the game. They can get shit done. And it all starts off with the front office, man. We've been doing a good job of building a very competent, a very good training staff. We also got a good defensive coordinator in Patrick Graham. We got Derek Carr, the best wide receiver in all of football. We upgraded with Chandler Jones. We're getting nice, pieces like Jayon Brown and that sort of thing. So I think they've shown Derek Carr that, you know what, if Derek Carr is able to be flexible with them, be able to work with them on the contract situation, and if possible, if he can take a slight haircut, you know, that they can do a lot of great things with that contract. So, you know, I think it's definitely something to keep your eye on. I still think it's a possibility. You know, ideally, I hope Derek Carr can get somewhere in $35 million range, just because I really think, man, we can really assemble this roster for a champion to compete at a championship level this year and next year. And, you know, because I think our optimal Super Bowl window is within this next 2 to 3 years. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how much exactly Derek Carr gets, you know, per year on his contract extension. But also something that I'm very curious to see is, you know, when this contract extension happens. Because after, you know, the Devontae Adams trade, I anticipated that Derek Carr was going to get extended very shortly after that. That obviously still hasn't happened. You know, the Raiders we're in a tricky situation because, you know, theoretically we still got plenty of time to extend a guy like Derek Carr. I mean, technically speaking, he's still under contract for all of next year. So I mean, if you really wanted to, you could wait till the end of next season to extend him. You know, me personally, I wouldn't want to do that. You know, I feel like the longer you wait, the less leverage you're gonna have in these contract negotiations. So by no means are the Raiders like in a rush to extend this guy, but me personally, man, I think, you know, the best scenario would be to extend Derek Carr, you know, tomorrow as soon as possible, just because, you know, by extending Derek Carr, you create more cap space. According to overthecap.com, we have roughly around $7.5 million in cap space at the moment. And if we can extend a guy like Derek Carr, you know, you can save up to like $15 million in cap space by converting a majority of his contract next year into a signing bonus, you know, when you extend him. So if you do the math, if you can extend Derek Carr, let's say tomorrow, you know, our cap situation will look somewhere around $22 million in cap space. And that's quite a bit of money. You know, we could do a lot of things with that. You know, we could, you know, sign a bunch of depth pieces, you know, around the roster to fill out the roster completely. Or, you know, you could go for those heavy hitters and Honey Badger at the safety position to create, you know, that one of the best safety tandems in the NFL with Trayvon Merrick. And you could also, you know, spend big on a guy like Stephon Gilmore. That would really solidify your cornerback position for this team. With $22 million to play with, I think you might have just enough money to afford both those players. I mean, you could offer a guy like Stephon Gilmore somewhere around $12 million per year, and maybe the Honey Badger somewhere around $10 million per year, just because he plays the safety position. But as I said, ideally, I want us to extend Derek Carr as soon as possible. That way we can free up some money right now to add to this roster, to fill out this roster completely. And, you know, with that money, like I said, we could go after those heavy hitters and Honey Badger and Stephon Gilmore. And also, Josh McDaniels, he did speak on Stephon Gilmore earlier this morning. He basically said there's nothing substantial there in terms of Stephon Gilmore. So the way he kind of said it, it kind of seemed to me like he's kind of hinting to us that, you know, a guy like Stephon Gilmore is not going to come to this team. You know, why exactly? Who knows? It could be maybe he's, you know, trying. Maybe they're just way off in terms of price. Maybe they're really not that interested in a guy like Stephon Gilmore, which is kind of disappointing. I feel like if we get a guy like Stephon Gilmore, you know, like I said, that'll really just solidify this defensive back position on this team, and it honestly becomes a real strength for this team. But yeah, Raider Nation, those are my thoughts and opinions on Josh McDaniels, what he spoke about in the whole terms of the Derek Carr situation. You know what, in terms of the extension of Derek Carr, that's probably one of the, you know, things I'm least worried about with this team. It's gonna happen, I just don't know exactly when. But, you know, as I said, ideally I want us to extend him as soon as possible. That way we can free up that money right now. But also at the same time, we got to think about it. Post June 1st, we're gonna have free up close to another $20 million from the contracts that we cleared up earlier in this season. But yeah, Raider Nation, you guys let me know in the comments down below, you know, what do you guys think of the situation? You know, would you guys like, when do you guys think Derek Carr will get extended? For how much money you think he will get extended? That sort of thing. Let me know in the comments down below, as I said. And once again, anybody that is new to the channel and you guys love Raiders related content like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.